I think it's a real simple message. I think if you are not a resident of Las Vegas and you're not from here, then believe that Las Vegas is gonna take care of you. But if you are from here, and certainly if you're from the West Side, then they're not gonna take care of you.
They don't want blacks to have anything. This is a very, very prejudiced city. You can say what you want. You might not see the big White House, but when you see those high rises, that's the big White House.
But they've cut us off. They're like saying, okay, you don't deserve to be a part of this.
What they've been doing is trying to move these places out. Now just look, every club that's been here, and at one time, this was a set aside for casinos, Jackson Street. Jackson from D to H. Owens from, which is H Street to Martin Luther King. All this was set aside for casinos. But every time a casino closed, they put a church in it. Like, for instance, the Cotton Club was down the street there. It's a church there. The Elks used to be down there where they used to book all entertainment, like B.B. King and all of them. That's where they all played. Oh, it's the Muslim temple. Around the corner is the Derby. It's a church. You understand? Paulus Palace was over here. It's a church. So I guess if they can't last very much longer, this will be a church. So once that happened, then they smooth sail and they can come right on through. They don't intend to have anything in here.
It's not about having to question the intent of F Street. It's having to question the intent of the new development, because historically, progress always comes at the cost of those less fortunate. So it's not necessarily what was their intent behind F Street. We were just a means to an end to them. That's what it's about. It's about their idea of progress is having this new ritzy art center and this new this and this new that, and that they, in the name of progress, will step upon anybody who's in the way of that. That's what it's about. That's where you have to question the intent, because how do you not know? The only way you can not know the ramifications of like closing a F Street and a D Street is if you didn't care to know that, right? Because that's not where your worries are. Everything else is master planned. Do you think that they don't know the ramifications of building this new art center? Do you think that they don't know the ramifications of this new city hall? They know all this stuff because they have planned it out. They planned it out. They thought about it. They know when they built this art center, they know how much foot traffic that's going to drive. They know how much money that's going to infuse into the economy, the local economy. The reason they don't know the ramifications of F and D Street is because they didn't care. That wasn't a part of their plans. When they were doing their plans, they were just like, we're going to close this street and this street because that's going to make it easier for this. They didn't care about the ramifications because that's why they didn't plan it out. They never thought about it. So, of course, they didn't know because it didn't matter to them. What mattered to them is what we're going to do over here. And whatever we have to do to make this work, that's what we're going to do. And that's what they did. So that's where the intent needs, because it's a ton of money that's coming out, that's going to come out of the World Market Center and all that. Like, they know this stuff. It's in no way an accident. So if anybody acts like it's an accident, it's not.
Give John for his man. So if that's all they put on your part, they need to keep going, because they're not giving us nothing back.
We've had proposed a much larger part of the historic west side of Las Vegas be included in the redevelopment area. And the intent was for the redevelopment agency to work with the neighborhood in West Side more aggressively to bring some of the things that we can bring to bear to help that area out. I think one of the biggest fears at the time the neighborhood residents had was that of eminent domain. They were concerned about the city taking their property. It really is an unfounded fear because there's never been an intent for us to go in and take single-family homes. The real thrust behind us wanting to go there was to be able to use tax increment financing and the funding mechanisms that we have available to stimulate redevelopment in some of those key areas.
Very hard for businesses in this area. I must say that. You know, they do things everywhere but over here. So it seems as though the city wants this land and they don't want to help any business over here.
The end game here is making it a better place for the residents to improve property values and make everybody feel better about the area that they live in.
B.B. King's, Lil Milton, Betty Wright, Johnny Taylor, every last one of the blacks performers for him right here.
My brother, he stays in the newspaper, always reading and everything. He called me and said, "Turn, they're giving all this money out to help people and finna build this over here and build this, and we need to go down there and talk." I said, "They're not gonna help." And at the time, Councilman Weekly was he was the councilman at the time, and Ricky Barlow was his liaison. And I kept telling my brother that they wasn't gonna help. He said, "Well, I'm gonna go down there and I'm gonna talk with you too." So we goes down there, we talked to Ricky Barlow and everything. My brother, he can tell you more. We talked to him and told him what we wanted to do. He asked how could we tap into this money and everything, and he was telling us to contact this person, contact the historian person and everything. And I'm just sitting there and I'm looking and I'm telling my brother after we left, I'm like, "See, now you happy now?" So I don't know why they want help, but it's not like I never tried, and it's not like I didn't ask.
But the first step we've got to take to help her out and the Jackson Street corridors to get that area in the redevelopment area. And I think that's what I mean by having a meaningful dialogue with the area. There has to be some level of trust built that if we go in there with the redevelopment agency, we're not going to take their property. The goal of redevelopment is to improve their property, to improve values and improve the overall quality of life. And
I think the F Street slight and the proposed closure of D Street and these elected city officials who now look like they have pie on their face is the best thing that ever happened in my 26 years of life, because now at least it's starting a conversation within the community, it's mobilizing the community where we're saying that we're no longer going to be looking to them for our best interests. So I think if the spirit of unity that is beginning to unfold continues, then we can take back our own fate and our own future. And I think that that's where it's going to have to be, because again, from the time my grandfather got here from Georgia to now, not a whole lot has changed.